Aloha everybody and welcome to part 4 of Mega Man ZX. I'm fine. I can't sit out on the sidelines wiping my tears away while the world falls to pieces. Serpent said he would sacrifice the country to power Model W. I have to keep fighting. We must stop Serpent. Boss would want it that way. That's why he gave me Model Z. Alright. We've analyzed the data and found out a few things. Model W has the power to corrupt machines and humans alike. That's what has been causing the Maverick outbreaks. But Serpent only has the Model W biometal fragment now. How can he control Boss and the Mavericks with just that one piece? The Model W core is lying dormant somewhere waiting to be awoken. I'm not sure what that Project Haven Serpent mentioned is, but I think he's going to try and awaken Model W. He'll use it to take over the world. Shocking. Where's the Model W core now? I'm not sure. Some of the data was corrupt and we couldn't complete the analysis. What I do know is that the 6 passwords encoded into the biometal fragments are the keys. Combined, they will unlock the seal that contains the core. I managed to get to Model X and Model Z first, but Slither Inc. found the other 4. It looks like we don't have much of a choice. We have to fight and take them by force! I'm going to simulate the data and narrow down the biometal locations using the Maverick signatures. Once I get a mission plan together, I'll add that information to the trans server. Vent, be careful out there. So it's at this point that the game starts beginning proper, and we are finally going to go face off with the 8 bosses that are holding the biometals that we need. In this game, they're actually referred to as pseudoroids. So you can call them Mavericks, Pseudoroids, Robot Masters, whatever. This is Prairie's room. It's super girly because there's a whole bunch of stuffed dolls everywhere. And one of the dolls you can actually cut from the ceiling, from its string, and kick it around and dash into it. But actually, if you keep slashing at it enough, it's actually going to drop something and give us an item. So that's a little pro tip for you guys. In the background, we can actually see some Zero cameo stuff. All of those pink dresses in the background are CLs from Mega Man Zero. She has the winter coat that she wore in Mega Man Zero 3, as well as her normal attire. And there's even some like picture frames of CL and Zero from the Zero series. So a nice little bunch of cameos over there. I think there's even like a golem from the Zero series, like one of the first bosses you ever fought in Zero. This big wrecker thing that actually grabbed CL and you had to use the Z-Saber for the first time on it, but I could be wrong about that. But, yeah, this is the room of the Commander of the Guardians. I'm sure one guy comes in and he rolls his eyes like, seriously? She's in charge? But either way. Finally, after slashing the hell out of it, the doll that was attached to the string has a W-Tank. If you've played the classic series, a W-Tank refills all of your weapon energy. So, if for some reason you waste all your weapon energy with the other biometals, you can drink the W-Tank, and you get all that weapon energy back. So that's freaking swell. So I'll warn you, this particular part is pretty much going to be a filler episode. I actually spend the majority of this part investigating the Guardian base so that I can explore this place, talk to the Guardian members, show you what their names and what they look like, and this is going to be the last kind of slow pace in action. From this point onwards, you know, Part 5, Part 6, Part 7, Part 8, Part 9, etc. We're going to be heading to actual levels and fighting the bosses and actually getting some major progress and kicking ass, as a Mega Man game should be all about, you know. But in the first place, I figured, you know, we just explored Area C in Part 2. In Part 3, I got us to the highway level. In Part 4, I may as well show off the Guardian base, because it wouldn't be a proper LP if I didn't show everything off. So an interesting little detail about the ZX series, the Reploids and the humans can actually be identified rather easily in this series, because Reploids actually have an upside-down red triangle on their foreheads. I can't remember where it was stated that was the case, but it just happens to be like every other Reploid has a triangle. And when you go to ZX Advent, when you have to choose between Gray or Ash, you know, it's revealed Gray when you play as him is a Reploid, and it's revealed Ash when you're playing as her is a human. And Gray has the upside-down triangle. Ash does not have a triangle on her head, and yeah, it's just a nice little detail. And that would also mean that, yes, Jiro was also a Reploid. Probably explains why he sort of evaporated into cyber ether when he died. I don't know. Oh, poor Jiro. His full name, by the way, is Jiroette. Yeah. This guy, Carolette, will actually give you a body upgrade. I don't know if he gives it to me now, and I probably should have talked to him one more time. But I will be back to the Guardian base after attempting a second mission, and then I'll get the chip then. But I just can't remember if I could have talked to him one more time right there and got it right now, or if I had to wait a little bit. Because again, when you push up on the control pad, you talk to them, and sometimes they have more than one thing to say. So you have to constantly, like, talk to them more than once just to see that maybe you don't miss anything, you know? You can also get way up close and personal with them. Okay, you're in my space, Vent. You're in my space. Please, back up. Oh, the theme song of the Guardian base is so good. I know, I've said this before a million times, but it really is. It's just fantastic. The ZX series had a regular OST, I believe, and it also had like an arranged OST. That's what happened with the whole Mega Man series for a while with the 2000 era Mega Man games. Like even Mega Man 9 and 10 have an arranged soundtrack that was made for the game. I rather like Mega Man 10's arranged soundtrack because, you know that scene where Dr. Wily admits that he was the one behind Robo Enza? They actually got someone to do the voice of Wily in Japan, and so there's actually Japanese voice acting, a Japanese reenactment of Dr. Wily doing his speech, and you even hear, like, him sneezing at the end, and I always thought that was pretty fun. Will you be my friend forever and ever, Ben? Yeah, get away from me. You creepy, weird kid. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm a superhero. I'm Mega Man ZX. I'm, all that in a bag of chips. But these guys may have explained it while I was talking. The Pseudoroids are essentially the 8 Mavericks of the game. I mentioned this. But they actually do regenerate after a while. And because this game has the whole hub world Castlevania, you know, warping to rooms kind of thing, every time you get to the end of a stage, you can usually find a trans server, and that means that if a Pseudoroid regenerates, you can go back to him and re-practice him, and we're going to want to practice some of these guys because there's actually a unique thing about the boss fights and the biometals that I'll be getting into later. Still, I like that I can just jump to any kind of boss, really, after they regenerate anyway. And as long as I don't save the game, I can just keep doing it over and over and over again. Anywho, Cedri here. Cedri? I don't know how you say it. She offered us something for 200 energy crystals, and she gave us an E-Tank! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So not only did we get a W-Tank from Prairie's room, we also got a classic energy tank from this lady over here. The technology used to make it is quite old. Oh, yeah. Good old 20XX technology. So, as always, an energy tank will refill your entire health bar when you use it. But once you use it, it's gone forever. This isn't like the sub-tanks that I'll be picking up later. You use an energy tank, it's gone. But if you go back to Cedri, I don't know how you say it, after you use the energy tank, you can try and pay her more energy crystals for another one. So there's always a way to get an energy tank in case you need one. In case you want an extra little bit of help, aside from the 4 sub-tanks you can get throughout the game. Again, ZX can be super easy, depending on how you want it to be, you know? So it's not too daunting, it's not too intimidating. I feel like if you do look out for sub-tanks and get the energy tanks, and there's even, like, health items with, like, cake and candy and stuff you can find from citizens in Area C, so, It's a lot of ways to keep yourself alive. Although spikes are still one-hit kill, so if you touch spikes, you're still screwed. But I think this game's pretty easygoing on the spikes. Because this is a hub world, overworld kind of game where you have to backtrack to areas you've been to before, and they don't make the pathways too, difficult. So if you're just going back through Area A, Area B, you don't have to worry too much about spikes, which I enjoy. This is not to say there aren't bottomless pits or spikes to watch out for, but, it's not overkill where it's like, ugh, I'm not going through this area again. This area sucks. Mega Man's always been hard, but it's never been unfair, Well, Mega Man X6 was pretty unfair. Love that jump and spinning slash. It's actually activated in a different way. In this game, you can jump, hit the slash button, and he'll just swing his sword forward. But if you swing it again after you do that, he does the spinning slash. So if you keep mashing the button in the air, he'll eventually keep doing the spinning slash. However, there's also another way to do it without doing the original slash first. If you hold up on the control pad, then he just does the spinning slash like automatically. So that's a good pro tip. Some people think you only have to slash multiple times in order to do the spinning slash. No, you can hold the up button and it just happens, so yeah. But anyway, here is Fluve. Every time we pick up one of those data discs, we can go to Fluve's computer room here to look at the data discs and see all the different bios and information about all of the enemies, all of the characters. I haven't found everything yet, obviously, and I'm not going to because some you have to backtrack out of your way just to get. But, if you ever wanted to know that the Hornet copter was called King Flyer, that's the capsule shooter, platform cannon, tornado fencer, and the fly chopper, Well, there you go. You even get a little backstory on all the Guardians, although I never really remember these guys. I don't remember the Resistance members all that much. I remember the old guy. I remember the girl with the doll. There's Prairie. I remember, yeah, that would be it, really. They're background people you talk to, and that's all well and good, and it's nice that they built up this little universe, and you can imagine... You can create tons of fan fiction in your head about Vent, patrolling the world with the Guardians and doing good deeds and stopping Mavericks and yeah, but either way, we got a yellow card key. That means now we can go into doors that are yellow. We couldn't do that before. Earlier there was actually a yellow card key in Area A that I couldn't open just before I went to the Snake Boss, so we have 4 missions right up the bat, and they don't really tell you what the boss is in these missions, so you're kind of guessing your first time playing. But I would recommend tackling the Search the Plant mission first. Not only is the boss kind of easy, the level's pretty fun, but the biometal you pick up from this boss is by far my second favorite next to ZX. I love the biometal we get from this one. So you always read the descriptions of the missions because sometimes they can tell you where to go. Most times they don't, but sometimes they do. And this mission said, in particular, that next to the residential district was Area E, where the power plant was. Well, Area C is the residential district, so we know to look for Area E in Area C. Most of the time, though, they just tell you to go to Area G. Okay, where's Area G? I don't know. So should I talk to people in Area C? Well, they aren't giving me information I need to know. And oh, by the way, the X form right there, Biometal Model X. I mentioned before that it was gone forever in a regular playthrough. I beat the game with both Vent and Ale, and because I beat the game with both Vent and Ale, I can use Model X on a third playthrough. I'm not going to be using it just because originally in your first playthroughs, you're not going to have Model X again. But it's worth mentioning that after you've beaten the game with both Vent and Ale, you can use Model X in subsequent playthroughs. So if you really, really enjoyed Model X and you're like, oh man, I can't believe they got rid of it so early, you can play the game over and over again in order to get Model X. So, your hope is still there. All hope is not lost. But anyway, the power plant is to the right here. It is to the right of the fountain. And that's where our next level is going to be. But again, I just think the overworld thing really sucks, because when you have a new mission and they just tell you to go to Area J. Which one's Area J? They don't tell you where to go, and when you look at the map, they don't have like a cursor or any kind of like pinpoint thing telling you that you should go to this particular area in order to reach one other particular area, and that is annoying, and that leads to way too much exploration, and you know, it's just annoying. But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the power plant in part 5.